Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Spencer TCG here. It has been a minute, but I am back with my favorite part of the channel, the limited guide. We're first gonna start off with all the green cards from Secrets of Power. And I'm really excited now because Limited is more in the scene as it has been added to the competitive circuit. So I feel like these videos will be more than just for pre-release. They'll be, for the future down the line, maybe at your sector qualifier, you'll want to check out this video. So let's get started with the ratings. We have A through F. I cut S. I felt like Star Wars wasn't having enough range of cards. So the scale should be pretty self-explanatory, but they're so powerful that they make you want to switch to playing them. Your B cards are just the good. They're the auto includes, like you just play them if you open them. And then your color. C are just your regular playables. Sometimes they get cut, but they're just the things. They have the stats. They go in your deck. Are they the biggest impact? No, but they're they fill your curve, and you need something in your deck. D cards are the ones that we want to start cutting. Unfortunately, sometimes your deck has some D cards. Luckily, in Star Wars, we can do some resourcing. But yeah, and or sometimes the card's a little bit too niche, for that. And then F is like super too niche, like just terrible, way out there. It's just it's not cutting it. And for this video, because I think that sealed play versus draft is a little bit different. If I think a card gets a different rating for draft, I will mention that. Otherwise, if you just hear me say one rating, I'm giving it to both. All right, let's get started, okay? Let's do this stuff. All right, we have Yularen. What a nice young-looking man here. He is a leader deploy on 5, and his non-leader side is tap him sideways, attack with a unit. Then you may attack with another unit that costs less than it. So, kind of some set one lay action. And then when he flips over on 5 resources, is a 4/6 that says when this unit completes an attack and survives, you may attack with another unit that costs 4 or less. And before jumping in for the rating, I'm actually going to read the next leader right away. So we have Dryden Voss. He deploys on 7. His action is discard a card that costs 6 or more from your hand, and then play a unit that costs 5 or less from your hand, and it gains ambush. That's pretty cool. It just gives yourself ambush. And then once you get to 7 resources, we flip this bad boy over. He's a 5/7 with Overwhelm, and with the same ability, we can discard any card from our hand now, and we can play a unit and giving it ambush. So these are our 2 green bad guy choices. Just taking a look at both of them, Yularen has decent stats, 5 for a 4/6. That's pretty on rate. That's it. That's what I expect from a 5 resource leader. So I'm excited for that. While Dryden Voss being a 5/7 is not great. His stat deploy on 7 resources is very underwhelming. So just when you take a look at that comparison, not looking good for Mr. Voss. And another comparison is Yularen, lets you attack with multiple units. The fact that it says you have to attack with another unit that costs less, I feel like will just happen all the time. I think it's rare, actually, more rare that you have 2 units that cost the same on your field as opposed to 2 units that cost different costs. Yeah, so yeah, I surely said that right. So I feel like you'll be able to action sheet a lot with this guy, a lot easier. And then I look at Dryden Voss. Outside of draft, I don't think I'm going to be getting that many cards that cost 6 or more just from a random sealed pool. And then how good is it to give my cards ambush? It is pretty good. Ambush is one of the strongest keywords because it impacts the board right away. But I'm waiting, 2 turns more for the Dryden Voss. These are the thoughts that I'm thinking. So for this first, leader comparison, I kind of just wanted to show you the side by side. But anyway, Colonel Yularen, I really like this leader. I'm going to give him a solid B. I think if you open him up, you're going to be totally fine playing him. I think he's going to be a top contender. I just really like his stats. He has the official trait, which matters in this set. And I like that he action cheats. Action cheating in Star Wars is obviously good because, one action at a time, and here I am action cheating. So overall, I like what this guy does. I like that he action cheats, so I'm going to give him a solid B. Now we look at Dryden Voss. I really like his ability. I really like him, but I actually think he's not impactful when he hits the board. I don't think his stats are big enough to swing the 2-turn missing. So we really have to rely on his ambush keyword. I think in a regular sealed pool and you have both these leaders, you almost never want to be Dryden Voss. I like almost want to give him a D. I think I'd get like a lot of flame for that. So let's say C minus. I think he's barely playable. I don't know, man, guys. Even saying it out loud, I wrote down D plus. All right, so D plus. He's just not making it. I think his deploy just comes out too late, even though he has a really cool effect. Now in draft, and you build your whole deck around this, and you're getting really cool like on attacking effects, when defeated effects that you can just use right away, and you get a bunch of things that cost 6 or more, so we can just turn them on. Maybe some card draw too. Now we're cooking a little bit, and I think in a build around world. Where our deck is a little bit more cohesive. I think maybe he's like a B minus. I still don't think he's gonna be as consistent as Yularen is just all the time. Like I said, I just think that attacking all the time is gonna be really good. So, but I think in a build around, yeah, he is worth building around in a draft. I think that's fine. But again, I'm very upset that he's a 5/7 for 7. It's just kind of small, right? I mean, look at that. He's getting +1/+1 2 turns later. That's not right. All right, guys, let's do it. Let's get into the cards. If you've never seen my video before, we're going to talk about all the bad guys, all the good guys, and then all the just regular green guys. So we have Imperial Dark Trooper is a 2-costed 3/3 Imperial Droid Trooper. This guy has, the droid trait, which matters a little bit in this set. This card is great. He comes out. He's a 3/3. He's not dying to any other 2-drops most of the time, and he kills a lot of the other 2-drops as well. I guess I should say he trades at least if he's going to die from another 2-drop. I know there's 2 4s existing, but I like this guy. He's a little bit more aggressively statted because he has that 3 attack. I think that if you open this guy, you should probably always play him. Do I think he's going to, swing your games like an A-rated card is? No, but this is like one of those 2-drops that you just always play. So we're going to give him a B, solid B to start off. All right, we got Major Partagaz. He is a 2-costed 0/6 Imperial Official with Overwhelm. Gotta love Overwhelm on a 0 attack, dude. When another friendly official unit attacks, this unit gets +2/+2 for this phase. This set is not short of officials, but let's just walk through, playing this card. All right, I play him on turn 1. Cool. He's on my field. I got a 0/6. Next turn, I play my strongest official. Let's say it's a 4/4 official. Wow, I did it. I played a great official. And my major, he does nothing, right? Because my guy that I just played hasn't attacked yet. I guess I would have to be Voss here and ambush with him. I guess that's best case. But in normal case, here I am, just played my 4/4 official, and I pass. Okay, I go to my next turn, and my opponent still hasn't interacted with the major. That's fine. Okay, I finally swing with my 4/4 that I played the turn before. This is turn 3. And now my major Partagaz is a 2/8. Wow. Okay, still garbage. Yeah, it's not good, guys. Like, he only has 2 attack. Like, I had to wait 2 turns just to give him that 2 attack. So in what scenarios is he good? I don't know. I'm able to make like a million officials, and my opponent just said, sure, make all your officials, and I'll leave your guy up. Like, if my opponent really wants to, and he plays the Imperial Dark Trooper, he can just swing into my Partagaz twice, and I'm dead. Yeah, sure, I played this 2-mana heal 6, but I don't know why I'd play that card either. So again, I really don't like this card. I'm going to give him my niche rating of a D. I'm not going to make him totally unplayable because he is a 2-drop that I guess can soak damage. So, yeah, that's a D. Now, even in a super play-around official deck, I think he could only really be, like, I don't know, maybe a C minus. Like, you need to make a crap ton of spies and just have so many tokens and officials on the field that this guy just keeps getting buffed. And you have to do it fast. Like, I guess people could say, oh, you could play him in the late game. Well, in the late game, if I get to attack with 5 officials and then swing with this guy for 10 attack, like, I'm probably already winning because I swung with 5 officials, right? So I don't like this card at all. Yeah, don't get too excited when you open. Next up, we have the Chancellor Palpatine, a 3-costed 2/2 Republic official. Make up your mind, bro. When played, if you control a leader unit, create 2 spy tokens and give those tokens Sentinel for this phase. So spy tokens, if you don't know, are 0/2s with rate 2. So they do hit, but they get hit. This guy also has plot. It's a new mechanic in the set. When you deploy your leader, you can summon them from your row, and that resource gets replaced. So it's kind of like playing a card that's hidden, kind of like Smuggle, and you draw a card in a sense because the card you played didn't come from your hand. All right, let's talk about this card without plot. So without plot, on curve, 3 mana, 2/2, do nothing, really bad, right? So obviously we're not playing this card on curve. That's not why he's in our deck. We want to play him when we have our leader. If we're playing him from plot, that just makes this card a lot better because it says draw a card. So we're getting a 2/2 with like 2 more units. That's a lot of units. I think if I flip my leader and just, shit out 3 units like that, that's going to feel pretty good. And I'm technically drawing a card if I'm doing it with plot. I really like that effect. I'm a little sad that I can't play him on curve because I don't know if you guys know this, but how you win limited games is just playing on curve. You play a really good statted 2-drop to 6-drop, and you're going to win like 80% of your games, regardless of the text box on your cards. That's just how it works, because if your stats are bigger than your opponent's stats, how are they going to interact, and then you throw in removal in there and you got a good deck. So I don't like this card, like, takes away my curve. So you're probably really hoping for a second plot card, or another card that you can play from hand. Because if you, let's say we're playing the Yularen on 5, I got my 4/6 out. Now I have a 2/2 and 2 more 0/2s, and if board's even, like, this is a lot of pressure. And then I play a 2-drop from my hand, and all of a sudden I just have so many dudes. And then out of nowhere, my major Partagaz swings Furia. So I like the Palpatine. I'm going to give him a B. I really like this card. I don't think he's at that A material because you don't play him on curve. It's nice that you can just throw him in the row if you get him early. But yeah, like, this is going to feel like the worst top deck ever if your leader's already gone. So that's, in the second half of the game, he's pretty useless. But in the first half, you'll know that you can probably do this. But again, you're playing off curve. And I don't know if you're always going to, like, want a 2/2 and, like, 2 0/2s over just, like, playing, like, a 5 mana 6/6 or something. Or 5/6. I think there is one in the set. So, just something to... Food for thought. But this card is good. I think you should just throw him in your deck. He has plot, so that's a good keyword. All right. ISB Shuttle is a 3-costed 3/2 space unit. Also, if I talk this long for every card... Yeah, 3-hour video. All right, when played, if a friendly unit was defeated this phase, create a spy token. All right, guys, ideal world, I guess, is I play a unit, my opponent plays a unit, I trade with them, and I play a 3-mana 3/2 that makes a 0/2 spy token. My opponent, in response, either plays a 3/4 spaceship, okay, not good for me, or they play any creature in the world that has more than 2 health. And then my spy token doesn't do as much, right? I really want some, synergy or, like, more and more ways. Like, I think if you really want multiple spy tokens in your deck, I think this guy, definitely gets some points. But the creators of Star Wars are really not liking when units die on turn 1. They're printing these things called 2-mana 2/4s. So this is another example of a card that might be really hard to play on curve. And it's definitely not a card that you don't want to play not on curve. So keep that in mind. Now, a 3-mana 3/2 space unit is sort of okay. Like, anytime you can just put something in space and hope it just stays there all game, especially if you can give it, like, experience tokens or something, that can be pretty good. So I think if you see this card, I think it's just going to be a playable, probably a low C, in my opinion. I can see myself cutting this card sometimes. But yeah, it's just a playable that barely makes the playable cut. So we'll give it a C-. I'm not too excited about this card. All right, now next up we have a 4-costed 3/4 Republic official, Mr. Mas Amedda, Accomplice to Power. Now, when played, give an experience token to up to 2 official units. This guy's not an official. Damn. All right, and it has plot. Okay, let's say we play this with nothing on board. It's a 4-costed 3/4. That's bad. It's down bad, right? It's down, it should be a 4/5. Oh, if you think of Wampa. So that would be like a D-, or probably a D. Like, I really just don't want to play this card. Its stats are so bad. Now it does have a text box, right? So let's say I play this without plot. I'm just playing it. I have 1 official unit on the field. Okay, now I've played a 4-mana 4/5, and I've pretty much Wampa'd. Now let's say I have 2 other officials. Okay, now I've played a 4-costed, 5/6. Hey, that's pretty good. And this thing has plot. So if I'm playing an official leader, hey, let's go back. Okay, this guy's Underworld. This guy's official. Oh, saying some more plus side. Okay, so I flip this guy. I summon this guy. I only have 1 resource floating, which I'll now say he's a 5-costed guy. But he busts my leader 1. That's interesting. So you guys always got to think about that. Like, oh, you're like, even though he costs 4, if I'm doing it with my leader flip on 5, am I really playing something that costs 1? I don't know how often I'm doing that, right? So maybe he costs 5, and then I'm getting 4 or 5 stats out of it, but draw a card because it has plot. So I think on deploy with your leader, I think this card has a lot of upside. You can even say, hey, like this plus Chancellor Palpatine when I flip Dryden Voss, well, I'm going to get, 4 dudes and 2 of them are getting buffed. Like, that's pretty cool. I think plot has a lot of upside in these cards, like I said, because it can come with draw a card. I think, you could play him on curve. It'd be pretty bad, but you could do it. I don't know if you'd lose the game immediately off of that. So for all these reasons, I'm going to give him a solid B. I think he has enough upside to be like you should just put him in your deck as long as you're playing officials. Now, like I said, I was gonna give a draft versus I think if you have a crap ton of officials, like a lot, like your whole deck is officials, like maybe a B plus. So yeah, probably ranging from that B minus to B plus range depending on how many officials you have. But I think as long as your leader is an official, this guy should just go in your deck. All right, next up we have Vice Admiral Rampart. He's a 4-costed 3/6 Imperial official. On attack, you may disclose. Disclose, it says show your opponent these symbols. Green, green, black. And if you do, give an experience token to each of up to 2 other units. All right, so again, just looking at its stats, a 4-costed 3/6. It should be a 4/5, so -1/+1 on the attack and defense. And there we go. We have something that's on rate for stats, and it has an effect. Okay, so on rate for stats. A little sad that it's down attack and up on its butt. Like I would probably give that like a low C just for the stats, but now we're getting this cool effect. I think that he's gonna live, and I think that you'll be able to give experience tokens. Do I think you can always disclose 2 green cards? Probably. If you guys don't know, you start most turns with 4 cards in your hand, so as long as half those cards are green, you're good. Do I think half the cards will be green? Probably if you're playing a green deck. So, he won't always get his effect, but if he doesn't, he still, can go in a deck. Yeah, I like this card. These green-black cards have off to a pretty good start. I'm going to give this card a B minus, okay? Makes the cut. He's a playable. Put him in your deck. I think he'll be distributing the experience tokens around. I don't know. And again, if you have a huge, token build around for your draft, I think he's just a solid B then. So... the more units, the better. All right, we have Cruel Commandos, a 5-costed 5/5 Republic Clone Trooper Sentinel Overwhelm. Got a lot of stuff going on. Not really. I like this card. The more I play Star Wars Unlimited, the more I like having Sentinels as an option. I wish he had 1 more HP, but a lot of leaders don't have 5 attack, especially when they're coming down on 5 or 6 resources. So I think he actually can just, be in the way of a lot of leaders. I like that he has Overwhelm. Like sometimes you'll just get some damage off that. I don't know. Like the card is fine. I'm going to give it a solid C. It's playable. Would I always include it in my deck? Maybe not. Like if I had some really good power 5 drops, I would probably play those over him. But I like that he has Sentinel. I think that you want some Sentinel in your deck at some point. So if your deck is seriously lacking Sentinel, this is going to be a really strong C for you. All right, next up we have Daedra. She's a 6-costed 5/5 Imperial official. She got verifiable data, and she has Ambush. And on attack, create a spy token. Cool. So we can say, hey, she comes down and makes a 0/2. Her stats are a little bad. But in draft, that's probably okay. She can probably always line up and kill something. Because leaders, again, don't have 5 health, if you at any point attack the leader, she'll finish it off and leave around a spy. And if your opponent isn't ready to kill her, then she gets to kill something else next turn and make another spy. That's pretty cool. I like having Ambush on my deck, just in general. I'm going to give... Oh, man... I like her. I'm going to give her a B minus. I think that she should probably just always be in your deck if you're playing green-black. The reason I'm adding the minuses here, guys, is I just don't think, they're the most happiest cards that you're getting to play in your deck. But it's good enough that it should probably just be included in your deck. All right, next up we got First Light, is a 7-costed space unit, 5/7 underworld vehicle transport unit with Ambush. When this unit attacks and defeats a unit, you may draw a card, and it has plot. This is not a big space heavy set. I feel like most of the units are ground. So how often are you going to be ambushing a space unit? I don't know how that often. But when you play your leader and you can plot this out and ambush something, like that's a lot of value. Like you'll be drawing a card from plot technically and drawing a card from this defeating a unit and, doing this all in one action. Like that's kind of crazy. I feel like this is like your number one sideboard card against people that have a lot of space threats. A big problem with this card is it's coming down on 7 resources, and if you're playing this against a ground heavy deck, it's going to feel bad. It's going to feel like you spent your whole turn just to set up 5 attack, 5 damage for the next turn. Can you really, is your deck in a spot that it can do that? Some upsides on this, the card costs 7, so if you're playing a Dryden Voss deck, not only can you think about using him for plot, but if you notice that your opponent's not really doing any space things, then you can just discard it and give something else ambush. In a world where I get to plot ambush, kill a space unit, I think this would be like an A. Like that is so much happening. And drawing cards, right? So much happening. So this is going to be one of those interesting ratings where I feel like, it's sort of a C, C minus in your deck because it's sort of 7 mana, do nothing. But out of the sideboard and you're confident you're going to kill a space unit, that's like a bomb, right? Like it does everything you want. It kills a space unit. It probably is going to live, guys. It has 7 HP and it's drawing you cards. Like that's everything you want. And you can just resource it early if you're playing a leader that costs a lot, like Blue Pelt, but all right. Moving on, we have Primor Personnel Carrier, an example of a bad space unit. It is an 8-costed 6/6 space unit, vehicle transport with Overwhelm, and on play, give this unit an experience token for each ground unit you control. The more ground units you control, the less you need to play this card. It is a very expensive space unit. It doesn't have plot, which means I need to keep it in my hands. Which is, again, these really nice things about plot. I don't have to keep them in my hand all the time. Now, this card, yeah, it's bad. I don't think I would ever really want this card in my deck unless I just had, like, some super hard control deck, and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to end the game with my 6/6 spaceship that, sometimes gets bigger. That's not really a great win strategy, though, so I'm going to give this card probably a D minus, okay? Don't put this in your deck. I'm making it extra low. Don't put it in your deck. Obviously, you could play it. It's not going to, like, ruin your deck for it being in there, but the more of these type of cards you put in your deck, the worse your deck is going to become. All right, next up we have a 9-costed ground unit, Director Krennic. I lose nothing but time. It is an 8/10 Imperial Official with Sentinel, and when this unit is attacked, discard the top card of your deck, and if it's a unit, you can just grab that card. This card is a legendary. Hey guys, this set doesn't really have kill something with 10 HP. A lot of the kill spells, and blue does have kill spells, are very conditional, even though they don't have leader on them. There's just a lot that like say, hey, have less than 2 HP, hey, have less than 3 HP. So even if they do have a kill spell for Krennic, they gotta like whittle him down. Big problem with Krennic is that he costs 9. I don't know about you guys, but not many games go that late. This is another card where probably good in the sideboard if you just notice for some reason you and your opponent just have like bad ways of ending the game. And I think if you play this card, you'll probably just win. Yeah. I think if I opened Director Krennic, I would put him in my deck, but probably almost never play him. And for that, I'm going to give him a C. Again, very strong, obviously, if we can play him, because he just says, hey, now I can't die. Also, maybe I'll draw cards. I don't even care about that effect. I just like the biggest Sentinel I've ever seen on a body, right? So I think if I opened him, I would put him in my deck, but I would find myself resourcing him probably all the time. So, but again, it's playable. I'm just I don't think he's worthy of the powerful rating because his cost is just too high. And next up, we got Corporate Warmongering as a 4-cost event. Give a friendly unit +3/+3 for this phase. Give each other friendly unit +1/+1 for this phase. Cool, our first buff card. If you guys haven't watched one of my videos, I don't like buff cards because even in ideal scenarios where you buff something and you get, again, I don't know if this is ideal, you get a value trade. Well, you either already had the value trade or Like the value might go away after my +3/+3 goes away. Or I'm just hitting them in the face, which I much rather just add like a 4/5 on the board and hit him for face for 4 next turn. Yes, it's buffing everything else. I mean, all right. So I'm going to give this card a D-/F+. I personally would never, ever, ever want to play this card. Now, let's say I had just like the stupidest token deck ever. Like I drafted just like this mad spy lab deck, and I'm just making a bunch of tokens all the time. Well, then I'd probably want this card in my deck as like a finisher. But that I'd have to be super aggro and super wide. That is, like I'm really looking at that other spot where it's giving all my other units +1/+1, because then I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can get like 6-7 damage out of this card, and I'm gonna finish the game. So in a huge build around draft environment, I'll give it a solid B. I think you'll always want this card in your deck if you're one of those super solid token strategies. But I think if you're just playing a normal deck, playing on curve, trying to play on curve anyway, like you're never ever going to want to do this on 4 ever. So yeah. Stay away from buff cards, guys, unless you have a very good strategy with them. All right, we are done with the bad guys. We're moving on to the good guys. We got Bail Organa. Costs 1 action. If a friendly unit was defeated this phase, return a resource to your hand and put the top card of your deck into play as a resource. So he's sort of like pay 1 to draw a card as long as you lost a dude this turn. He has a very special flip. You turn him sideways, you discard 2 cards, and if you got 4 resources, you can deploy him. On deploy, he is a 3/3 Republic official that says when you play a card from your resource, heal a damage from your base. I don't think his text box is relevant at all. I'm looking at his 3/3. Now keep in mind, guys, that you can do this multiple times. It's not an epic action, so you know as long as you have cards in your hands, you can redeploy Bail Organa a lot of times. I like that value a lot in games. The big problem here is I have to discard 2 cards. So again, you start your turn with 4 cards. You play one of them, you're down to 3. You discard 2, you're down to 1. And that's where you're going to stay probably forever. So, how many times could you actually deploy Bail in a game without just losing because you have no hand anymore? Maybe 2. So I get 2 deploys out of him, and he's a 3/3. So maybe I can call him a 6/6, discard 4 cards. This man has no text box. And you could say, oh, what if I'm really aggressive, right? Then I can just get a super early leader. Again, problems is he could probably just die to anything my opponent does. And if I'm a really aggressive deck, I'm probably playing more than 1 card a turn. And in that case, discarding 2 cards is a very bad thing. That's the rest of my hand. I don't like this leader at all. Luckily, he's a rare, so you guys won't see him as much as the common version. And yeah, I would not play Bail Organa at all. And I'm really sorry. I guess I could say, hey guys, he draws you that card back. But again, you're playing off curve to draw a card, which in Star Wars Unlimited is a bad thing. I think in my first set reviews, anytime I saw a draw card, I was kind of excited for it because just having a magic background, drawing cards is really good. But in Star Wars, paying resources to draw cards, not that great. For a couple reasons. Reason number 1, you draw 2 cards a turn. Reason number 2, there's all this weird incidental draw. We've seen Smuggle, and then this set we see Plot. So my Plot card's already pseudo drawing me a card, they're not costing a resource like this is. So I don't like his effect. I don't like that you have to kill your own units, right? I don't want my units to die. It's not like an upside. It's yes, my units are dying. Haha, I get to draw some cards and not play on curve. He invites very bad gameplay. If you're not an expert at Star Wars, with your deck and playing just games in general, he's going to invite very bad gameplay, and you're gonna wonder why the games went so bad. Not really your fault. It's just this leader tricked you into using all his effects, and they're just not good enough. So yeah, I'm going to give him the F rating, which I don't give leaders that much, but really stay away from Bail Organa. All right. For draft, please stay away from him. If you are making a build around for Bail Organa, you are not drafting your deck correctly. All right. Next up, we have Mon Mothma. We have a leader that deploys on 5 that has not the greatest or coolest text box, but it's kind of, it's interesting. Ignore the aspect penalties on non-black official units you play. Okay, so as long as they're not bad guys, I can play any official units from any of the colors. And there are a lot of officials in this set. When I deploy her on 5 resources, she is a 3/7 Republic official that has the same text about ignoring the aspect penalties, and each other friendly official unit gets +0/+1. So she buffs them just a little bit. Her stats are fine. Instead of a 4/6, which is what I want, she's a 3/7. So she sticks around a little longer, but hits not as hard. I like my leaders to hit hard. I kind of like that she gives officials like a little bit of a buff, and obviously I'll be having a lot of officials in my deck because I want to and I can play more. In the sealed pool, she really opens up the cards you can play, which is really nice. And I just don't know how powerful that is. Because of this opening up of stuff, though, we'll probably at least, at the bare minimum, she's a C. She's playable. Again, I don't know how impactful this is, gaining these official units in your deck, as long as they're not bad guys. Like, I don't know, it really depends. Now, in draft, I think it makes your draft experience a lot nicer, Like, just being like, oh, this is an official unit, I can grab it. I don't have to look at the color. Official unit in my deck. I guess, well, again, it can't be bad guys, but, I don't have to look too close. And then I'm getting, like, this plus side, right? I'm getting these +0/+1s. Most of my deck will be officials, so when I flip her, I'm making my board hella sticky. I like that. I think in a build-around world, she goes up to a B. I think she competes with the Yularen, but just in a random assortment of cards, she's probably just a fine C leader. Like, you'll get her effect a little bit, and that'll be that. Onto the units for the good guys. We got C3PO is a 1-costed 1/3 Republic droid. Anything I might do. Action, turn him sideways, return this unit to the owner's hand, give a unit +2/+2 for this phase. And we've already talked about how I like buffs, guys, and this is a terrible example of how to buff a card. Now, I don't want to be playing this on turn 1 because I don't want to attack for 1. I want to attack for 2 or 3 from, my better 2-drops. So again, I guess I can go through the scenario, guys. All right, we play C3PO, and then I play another 1-drop side by side with him. Pump, hit him with my 1-drop. I'm feeling so good. I don't know. My opponent just plays a 2-drop and a 3-drop like normal. And, do I replay the C3PO? Am I replaying this card again? Or I'm like, you know what? I got his use out. I'll just play my 3-drop. My opponent value trades with my 2-drop. I don't know. I guess in an ideal scenario, double 1-drops makes this card But, we think about this more. I double 1-drop. My opponent has the initiative. My opponent just kills my other 1-drop, and now I have this crap unit. So there's that. I don't know, guys. I really don't like this card. I was trying to be mean to it, and then I was like, oh, maybe I'm onto something. But no, I don't like pumps. It's really slow. If you do it anytime after turn 1, you have to play it, hope it lives, and then bounce it back to your hand just to buff something up. Like, you're inviting a lot of, reaction from your opponent, which I don't like. His stats are bad. So don't play this card. I'm going to give it an F, baby. All right, next up we have Mina Bonteri. Stop this war. We have a 2-costed 2/4. Stop reading. A+. Move on. All right, Separatist official with Restore 1. Okay, more good text. Hello, Yaddle. When defeated, you may disclose, show green, white, and if you do, draw a card. Wow. I don't know. You look at this card and you wonder, what happened when they were making the other cards? Did they, forget to continue typing the rest of their text? This card has so much text. It does so much. And it's a 2-mana 2/4. I don't understand. This card is a B+. Now, I wouldn't say it's, all powerful and, you got to build around Mina and just, I open her, I got to make the deck. No. But she's so good. If you're green-white, she always goes in your deck. She has the stats. She has Restore. She sometimes draws you a card. That's disgusting. Green-white, you play her all the time. Next up, we have Feed Security is a 2-costed 2/3 Naboo Trooper with on the ground. And it says, when played, if an opponent controls an upgrade, give an experience token to a unit. All right. So worst case scenario, 2-mana 2/3. It's fine. I know they're making 3/3s now, and you'll be a little sad if you play into that. But it has some upside where it says your opponent controls an upgrade, give an experience token to a unit. How many upgrades are in this set? Well, I've seen experience tokens moving around. But there's not as many, lightsabers being equipped as in Legend of the Force. But I'm probably always going to play this card. It's a solid playable, being that 2/3 with like a little bit of upside here and there. So for that, the 2-mana 2/3 stat line will probably be like a C-ish. And then with the little upside, I'll give it a C+. I don't see myself cutting this card, probably, unless I had a bunch of really good B2 drops. Next up, we have Beloved Orator. It's a 3-costed 2/3 ground unit. When played, create a spy token. So I'm sacrificing at least +1/+1 of stats for a 0/2. So I guess I'm breaking even in the world of stats, especially since spies can swing for 2. So they're like 4/4, I guess. But when it has raid, I don't really like thinking of them as like 4/4 stats because they can get traded into anything and not hit back. This card's fine. I think if you want some token generation going on your deck, like this is going to be, one of those token generators for you. Again, I think I rather play a 3-mana 3/4. I don't love these spy tokens in general unless you have a payoff. So I'm gonna say without a payoff, this card's probably like a C-. In worlds where you can draft this card and find lots of spy token payoffs, probably be very happy to see this card. Probably a B-. All right, next up we have Naboo Royal Starship, fit for a queen, 4-costed 2/5 space unit with the Naboo vehicle transport traits. Each friendly leader unit gains raid 2 and overwhelm. Okay, and it has plot. All right, I like 2/5s in the space. Like that's hard to kill. I don't like 2/5s in the space for 4 because they don't do any damage. But I like that they're hard to kill. So if they're hard to kill, they better have an effect that is worth staying around, and it does. It gives your leader 2 more damage. That's pretty cool. The fact that it has plot is really nice. One thing I didn't talk about with this crap leader that I gave an F to, which people might be losing their mind still about and have already left the video, is that when you play plot, you're redrawing those cards back, you're activating plot multiple times. But again, your leader's just so bad, guys, so don't think about it. But you are making that 3/3 leader into a 5/3 leader when he swings, if you can get that far. But I like that this can buff my 3/7 leader that I'm probably playing into a 5/7 with overwhelm. That hits a lot harder because it says draw card. This is fine. I don't think it's like super insane where it gets a B rating and I always play the card, but I think it's a solid playable. You put a lot of these plot cards in your deck because they have plot. And that makes it playable. We'll give it a C. All right. Next up, we have Dracelian Commandos is a 5-costed 4/5 Rebel Trooper with ambush and plot. Cool. I like ambush cards. Kind of has like those Bosk stats going on, except it doesn't do the extra damage. But let's be honest. How often is Boss doing those extra damage in a game of limited anyway? Just for that, it's probably like a C+, but because it has plot and I can do it on leader deploy and because it's ambush, so it's like 3 actions in one, I'm going to give it a B. Yeah, I'll give it a B. I like this card. I like things with ambush. I feel like their interaction. You could take those value trades right away, and on plot, you can hit a lot of buttons at the same time. Next up, we have Queen Amidala. She's a 5-costed 5/3, and she's championing for her people, guys. She's from Naboo, and she's an official. When played, create 2 spy tokens. If damage would be dealt to this unit, you may defeat another friendly unit that shares a trait with this unit. If you do, prevent that damage. So she makes like these little minions, and if someone tries to attack her, you just kill a minion instead. People will say like, okay, they'll just clear your spy tokens and then kill her. She only has 3 HP. Well, guys, she made 5/7 of stats for 5 resources, which is really good. Plus, 2 of those stat things have raid 2, so like that, you can add a little bit more power there. She's a legendary, so you're not going to see her a lot. This card is very good, guys. It's too slow to kill 2 spy units and then kill her. Unless your board is also equally wide. It's going to be interesting. And again, I don't know if you guys are thinking about this, but these spy tokens are going to be made on both sides of the board, and they just kill each other for free. So just do keep that in mind. But it's not like she has 1 HP. Like, they still have to trade something reasonably into her, and she hits for 5 back, so she's killing most things that come into her. Like leaders, again, most leaders will value trade her, but not if she has her little spies protecting her. And on the plus side, like, it doesn't mean you only have 2 spy tokens. She just makes 2 more. This card does a lot. You're not going to see it that often, but when you do, you're really going to want to be green-white. She's going to be the first A I give of the video. I think she's just an A-. I don't think she's, like, insane, but I do think she's really good. And maybe I'm wrong about not her being insane. She's some sort of A, guys, and if you see her and you aren't super committed to a color, you know, in your draft, switch to her. And if you open her in your sealed pool, you should probably look at green first. Next up, we have Renowned Dignitaries is a 6-costed 5/6 ground unit, New Republic official with Overwhelm. When played, heal 2 damage from your base for each friendly official unit. So bare minimum, it's healing you 2. It's kind of cool to have a heal card in your deck that comes with, like, you know, decent stats. It's down 1/1. Now, again, we just saw this girl, so, like, if I played her with no interaction, I'm healing 8. That's disgusting. This card has crazy upside. It's one of those cards where, again, the more officials you have in your deck, the better. I think its stats are good enough that you always probably want to play this card. And if you know have a bunch of officials and you're just making a lot of tokens, your opponent cannot race you when you play this card. If I'm healing like freaking 10 damage because I just have a bunch of spies, like, how are they beating me? This card's going to be a menace in Constructed, guys, if a deck can be built with him. Like, I don't know, like some mid-range deck that wants to just, you know, trade with your opponent, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, here's my guy, heal 10. Good luck racing. I could be totally wrong on that. But anyway, this is a limited video, Spencer, so stay on task. This guy's solid. I think he ranges from B- to B+, depending from seal to draft, and depending on how many official units you have. Next up, we have Mon Mothma, Clinging to Hope. She's a 7-costed 5/8 Rebel official with Restore 3. When played, you may attack with any number of units, one at a time. Even if those units are exhausted, they can't attack bases for these attacks. So she lets you get like another round of value trades in. A 7-costed 5/8 that does have a relevant when played effect, because even if you haven't swung with the dudes, it kind of lets you just do all your trading all at once without your opponent doing anything. And she has Restore 3, so when she does stick around, because she will, she'll just start healing you. She has huge butt, 8 HP. Not many things can like get through this, so you're just going to be smacking them for 5 and healing 3 for the rest of the game. That's really solid. This card is pushing A tier. I think I want to keep it in B. I think it's a B+. You know, like, these cards that need other things to happen sometimes are hard for A. Like, we look at Queen Amidala, I can have an empty board and she does really good. I could have a big board, she does even better. You know, empty board Mon Mothma, I'm a little sad, right? I'm playing this on empty board. I'm playing it with 1 unit. I'm probably a little sad. But I'm still getting a 5/8 with Restore 3. So as long as you're not totally in the water, this card can start bringing you back, make some really good trades, and maybe even just threaten game while healing you 3 every turn. That's an 8-point damage swing. So yeah, we're going to keep it in the B realm, but it's a very good B card. Next up, we have Figure of Unity. It is a 3-costed upgrade. Gotta love upgrades. This is the first one we've seen, I think, so far. So this set must not be upgrade heavy, and it's a legendary. So you're probably never even going to open it. But attached to a unique unit, attached unit gains while this unit is ready. Each other friendly unit gains Overwhelm, Raid 1, and Restore 1. Now, keep in mind that all the things that it gives your units are only on attack triggers. So it effectively gives your board nothing the turn, you know, the second you play it. But as soon as you, you know, go back to your action, then, you know, your board starts doing stuff. It gives +2/+2 if I was playing an upgrade, and if I liked playing upgrades. I definitely want it to be +3/+3, so I'm losing 1/1 of stats on my upgrade to buff the rest of my field. I think this is, you know, good on your leader. It's good like in a token deck. It's good on my Queen Amidala to buff my spies. Again, I don't like upgrades in general, but this set doesn't really have a Rival's Fall. It sort of does. We haven't talked about it yet. It's in blue. If you do damage to a base, you can just kill anything, including leaders, and it costs 5. I don't like upgrades in general, guys, because you can get value traded. So for that, if you know this was me and I opened Figure of Unity, I would be looking to cut it. So I'd give it like a D+. I'd be looking to cut this card. Only reason I'm giving it like not an F is because I think it does have relevant things and can, it's not just an upgrade. Now, again, if I'm drafting this card and I wanted some sort of like board buff effect because I'm going really wide with tokens, then this is going to be my payoff. And in that case, it's going to be in the B range, right? Like in a strategy that is built around Figure of Unity, this card gets a lot better. Yes, you can still get punished from 2-for-1 from removal. But again, the set doesn't have that good of removal like that, especially if you're putting this on your leader or just a big unit. And yeah, you're getting these immediate effects everywhere else. So yeah, solid B if you're playing around it. Otherwise, and just sealed play, not too excited. Next up, we have Renewed Friendship. It's a 4-costed event. Return a unit from your discard pile to your hand and create 2 spy tokens. So you get your best unit that died back. You're making 2/02s with rate 2. On curve, this card is bad. I'm not even sure if you would have cards that have died yet. Maybe your 2-drop died to their 3-drop, so let's say that happened. Then you're getting your 2-drop back, and you're making 2/02s. That's not good enough at 4 resources. You really want to be playing something with 4 attack and 5 defense. You want to be playing a Wampa. I say this, guys, and people pass Wampa all the time. It's like, you just see that Wampa go round and around, but hey, that's the card that wins the game, 4 5s. And if people are passing Wampas, then they're surely going to be passing this card. I don't know, they might like it because it's cool. Your card neutral, but you're not necessarily getting a good card back, and you're making spies. I think in a deck that really wants a lot of spy tokens, you can consider this card because you're making 2 bodies for 1 card. I think that's what you're considering. But for its cost, it's a little expensive. And if I was doing 2 cards for 1 body, oh man, how long ago was this card? I don't even know anymore. Was it a bad guy card? Nah, we'll forget it. But I like that the spaceship that, when you lost the unit, you make it do. Like that 2 bodies for that card felt a little bit better. I'm going to give this card a D-. I think you could put it in your deck. But you're probably always really trying to cut it. I think if this is your only 4-drop you open for some reason, then I guess it makes the cut. In a build around, I think we're up to a C-. I think we could still probably find better build around cards than this one. All right, next up we have Dismantle the Conspiracy. We have a friendly unit captures any number of enemy non-leader units with a total of 7 or less remaining HP. So for 1 less resource than Cad Bane, we don't get a body. Wow. The value of that. There are some nice things about capturing is, upgrades fall off. You're removing temporarily some things. And there's a lot of bad things about capturing is that whatever just did the capturing is very susceptible to being targeted, right? Very susceptible. And if it is targeted, I'm probably losing the game because I just spent 6 resources to effectively tap my opponent's board, which is not good. Cards like these will make people think they're really good because you'll be winning and then you'll play Dismantle the Conspiracy and then you'll really win. That's called Win More. Did you need Dismantle the Conspiracy to win an already winning game? I don't know. Like, was your opponent... Like, I don't know if this card really... It probably does. It probably says, like, hey, game is over. Like, if you're already winning, it probably just cements the game in. It's really hard to come back with that, with single target removal. But also, if your opponent does have the single target removal, and this was your, like, play on 6, you get super punished. I don't like effects like this, guys. I really want to encourage people just to play stuff on curve. Play big stats, play them on curve. You're going to win most of your games. Doesn't matter how competitive, what level it is. You could be at Super Worlds Limited Regional of the Galaxy. And if you just play stuff on curve, you're just going to beat your opponent who doesn't play stuff on curve. Who's playing like these cards with value. Who are making 2 spy tokens. And then they're attaching all your units to their spy token. Ha ha ha. But I would stay away from these cards. For that, I'm going to give it a D. I would cut this card. That's just me personally. But I would be looking to cut this card. Could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong later. Next up, we have Chancellor. Oh my gosh, wait a minute. We're in double green. This set is really interesting. They barely have double colors. I'll talk about them really fast, though. So double colors, guys, are non-existent in my mind. You don't want to be playing monocolor anything. So I'm going to talk about these double colored cards. Again, there's only one of them, as if they costed 2 more. So this is a 7-costed ground unit. that is a 3/7 Republic official. Now, a 7 cost for a 3/7 is complete garbage, and that's an F. Let's see if its effect is redeeming. When this unit completes an attack, you may show them 3 green cards. If you do, put the top card of your deck into play as a resource. I'm gonna be honest, this card could say, you may disclose a high 5 and put the top card of your deck into play as a resource, and I would still give this card an F. This is like an F triple minus. Never play this card. And if you're like, oh, I opened it, I can go double green. No, you cannot. Even playing this card on curve in a double green deck is just okay. It's just okay. Like, its stats aren't great. And it's not worth it. It's not worth switching to double green, and it's definitely not worth playing this out of aspect. F quadruple minus. Next up, we have Senator's Aid is a 1-costed 0/3 Republic official. While you have the initiative, this unit gets +2/+0. This, I'm glad is here, is a great example of a cuttable card. You much rather just play a 2-mana 2/3. But if you don't have a 2-mana 2/3, then a 1-mana 0/3 that sometimes is a 2/3, I guess, is the best thing you have. But I want to cut it, right? So I'm going to give it a D. Like, you play this card if it's the only small thing you have, but hopefully you found better small things. Next up, we have Diplomatic Envoy. It is a 2-costed 2/2 space unit. When played, you may show your opponent a green card from your hand. If you do, the next unit you play this phase gains Ambush. What? I felt like they miswrote this. The next unit you play this phase? So I need to play a 2-mana 2/2 just to give my next card Ambush. When am I playing this card? Am I playing it on curve? You know, this is where we can talk about it. If I'm playing it on curve just for 2 damage in space, that's like a D, right? I hope I have something better. If I don't, well, then I have to play this crappy 2-mana 2/2. I'm not playing it on 3 resources and ambushing with the 1-drop. I'm probably not playing it on 4 resources and ambushing with the 2-drop. And we can go on and on. I really don't know what turn I want to play this. Maybe like on 10 resources so I can get my 8-drop ambush. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a little late though, guys. So I'm going to pretend this card has no text box that is relevant. And for that reason, I'm just going to pretend it's a 2-mana 2/2 space unit, which is like a DD minus. And I would play this card if I had to, because I'm just lacking on 2-drops. Or, I don't know, out of the sideboard, I notice my opponent's so weak to space that if I play this on turn 1, I'll get 10 damage in, and that's what I need to win. But otherwise, I'm not looking to play this card. Next up, we have a 2-drop 1/3 droid, the GNK Power Droid. It is a ground unit on attack. The next unit you play this phase costs 1 less. Cool. So let's say I have the initiative. I play this card. I hit him for 1. Now I can play a 4-drop. Now keep in mind that my 4-drop comes at a cost because instead of playing a 2/4 on turn 1, I played a 1/3. So I'm already down bad, right? I'm already down 1/1 of stats. But now I'm cheating, and I've played my 4-drop, and I have my Wampa, my 4 or 5 out in the field. They didn't kill my droid for whatever reason. It's still on alive, and I attack again, and now I get to play a 5-drop, right? So now I've cheated again. You know, the second time you cheat with this card, I think it becomes above rate, and if you only cheat with it one time, it's on rate-ish. Maybe a little below rate. So we'll say 0.9 to its rate, and you cheat with it twice, you're like 1.5 above. So you want to cheat with this card twice. How often do you do that? I don't know. You're going to be really sad if you play this card and your opponent plays a 3/3. Like, really, really sad. You're going to be really sad if you don't have a 4-drop in your hand and you play this. So, you know, it requires things to happen. You're going to be sad if you top deck this. It's not as good as playing like a 2/4 that can draw you a card when it dies, or a 3/3, or a 4/1, right? Like, that's more impactful in these later stages. It doesn't kill spy tokens, which is really bad. So this is an example, I think, of a cuttable card. I think it's really cute. I think if your deck has like this really cool plan where like I drafted like 3 of these and I have like crazy 4-drops and I just gonna do it every game. I don't know, sure, but it doesn't ramp you really. It just makes a unit less. It's not playing your leader faster. So I'm gonna cut this card most of the time. You know, I'd probably play this card over it. So if that means anything to you guys, D-. All right, Jar Jar Binks is a 2-costed 2/1. Man, they hate this card. Republic Gungan official from Naboo. When played, you may give another friendly unit +2. Why did I say from? Whatever. When played, you may give another friendly unit +2/+2 for this phase with plot. All right, deploy my leader. I play this crapper out of the row, and I make my leader bigger for 1 turn. Again, I most of the time rather just play something that costs 5. Now, where this card has some redemption is Chancellor Palpatine was that 3-drop plot that we talked about earlier. What I do really want to plot that card, and this card fits along right side of it, where I can play Jar Jar Binks with my Chancellor Palpatine, and then I can make my leader a little bit bigger for the turn and have it 2-1. His stats are really bad. You never want to play him on turn 1. He's like a D-, I guess. Like, again, if you have no 2-drops, like, sure, but like it's so bad, guys. And then, you know, it has like this upside where like if you have other plot cards, he fills in that plot curve. That's how I want to view him. If he's the only thing you're plotting, you're doing it wrong, and that would still be like a D-. Now, if he's filling in the plot curve, you know, that's pretty cool. Maybe like a D+. But again, it's still not that impactful. He's just making your turn a little bit better than it should have been, but at what cost? Right? You know, a pretty big one. You put a 2-mana 2/1 in your deck. Next up, we have Orn Free Ta, a political power broker. 2-costed 0/4 Republic official, and whatever that word is, sorry. This unit gets +1/+0 for each law card in your discard pile. All right, guys, are you ready? Let's do it. Uh-oh. All right, let's keep going. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Oh boy, all right, we have just looked at every single card that we have gone through in this video. Not a single one of them was law. Now, if every single one of them was law, that'd be a good effect. All right, what else does he do? When play, search the top 10 cards of your deck for a law card, reveal it, draw it. Well, I could apparently search the entire green pool and not find a law card. We'll see if there's some following, but, you know, I mean, I know if there's some following, but you'll see if there's some following. And this card is like an F double plus, and the way that it makes it a minus. Like it's really good at being an F. Okay, this is a 2-mana 0/4. Yes, it will always be 0/4. When played, shuffle your deck a little bit. All right, next up we have, I'm sorry, that was good for me too. Next up we have Daro Commando, is a 3-costed 3/4. Yes, hello Mini Wampa. Imperial Clone Trooper. All right, put this card in your deck, baby. C+. All right, it's a C for being a 3/4, C+ for having Overwhelm. You're like, Spencer, you say these on-stat cards should always go in your deck and you should just always play them, so why are you not giving them A's, right? Because, you know, they're not powerful, they're not game-changing, you know, you just play the card. That's what a playable is, you play the card. If you get anything else, you're happy. All right, next up we have Kino Loy, is a 3-costed 1/5. What happened? What happened to my 3/4? Oh, here it comes. This unit gets +1/+0 for each other exhausted friendly unit. Okay. Back to my double rating. If you're a super go-wide token deck, this card can be an okay payoff. I think he's hard to kill. I think your opponent will be trying to answer all your token shenanigans, and maybe he'll hit in for like 3 or 4. Like, that's pretty cool. You know, a 3/5 for 3 is like a C+, B-. On the downside, if you're not doing that, he's bad. He doesn't even count himself. So if he's your only unit, your opponent can swing into your 1/5 and just, you know, not even kill it, but just, you know, put their 3/4 into it. And then your opponent, now you have to play another card. And then your opponent can swing their 3/4 into it again. Now it's dead and their 3/4 has, you know, 3 damage on it. Like, what the heck, man? Yeah. I'm looking to cut this card. I'm going to give it like a D+. I'm looking to cut this card more often than I'm playing it. So that's why it goes in the D. I think in a build-around, fun token scenario, which a lot of these things I've said, right? You can make a token deck this format. Then it becomes like a C+, B-. I think maybe you can get enough value out of it if you're making all those tokens. You really want to play 2 bodies turn 1, though, to really get this guy going. Next up, we have Taylander Shuttle, is a 3-costed 2/4 space unit. So it has the stats. Fringe Vehicle Transport. On attack, if you have the initiative, create a spy token. Cool. This is like a great example of a playable card. It has the stats for space. Again, I much rather be like a 4/2 in space because, again, space sometimes is just ignored. So, like, even though it's sticky in space in a way, like 2 damage in space is not a lot. If your opponent just, you know, this is your only space unit the game, like, think about that, right? If you and your opponent are both playing ground stuff, and this is your only space unit, and that game is just not really going to help you put in that damage. But what it does do, and we haven't talked about this yet, is on attack, make a spy token as long as you have the initiative. So half the time, I'm getting a 0/2 on the ground. That's really cool, especially if my opponent isn't playing in space. So now I have like this sticky guy that's sometimes making spy tokens, like, that's Value Town right there. So because of that, I'm moving this guy up into that B range. I would always put this card in my deck because of that upside where, like, yeah, I'm just playing on curve. I play my 2-drop, I play my 3-drop, I take the initiative, I swing, I make a spy token. That's dope, right? Really, really supports those go wide strategies. So yeah, giving him a B. Let's go, baby. Next up, we have a Nubian Star Skiff. It's a 4-costed 4/4 space unit. So when I first read this card, I was actually pretty excited. I think it's really good because it also has the line that says, while you control an official unit, this unit gains Restore 2. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Right? We just talked about this. I'm doing 4 damage in space, which is a lot more, and I'm healing 2. I'll probably have an official unit somewhere. Big problem is when you look at all the other space units in this set, a lot of them have 5 attack and 5 defense. Or like 4 attack and 6 defense with Sentinel. Oh, sorry, 5 defense. So you look at this card by itself, and I would like almost give it a B. But then you realize that this set has this in the same color. And like you would just get destroyed, like literally destroyed. Like if you played a 4/4 and the next turn they play a 4/5, that is, in my opinion, destroyed. It has Sentinel. You're not getting through it. Their thing is living, and they can just ignore you forever. Like you just pseudo removed this card. That isn't cool. But my opponent won't always have that, obviously. So, in general, I think this is a playable card. It's a 4-mana 4/4 that has Restore, and it's in space. Like, that's definitely playable. I would give it a B, but context has told me that the space is not going to be good to this guy. Speaking of that, we have a 5-mana 4/5 Sentinel. This thing doesn't have great stats, even though I just said how good it is against the other thing. I think I would just put this in my deck always. This is going to be like the weirdest B rating I ever give a card. I'm going to give it a B-. I would always put it in my deck because game 1, it's just reassuring to know that I have a Space Sentinel in my deck. Like, that's it. Literally for that reason. I think, like, out of the sideboard against, like, a super heavy space deck, then he's, like, a solid B. But, like, the reassurance to know that, like, hey, I do have this Space Sentinel unit, and if my opponent doesn't do anything in space, I can just hit for 4. This card is not exciting, but it's something that I always at least want one of in my main deck. Like, I would just be so happy. And because of that, because I always want that, that's to me what, like, makes it more of a B, and I'm going to give it that B-. But, like, I don't want 8 copies of this card. So, yeah. All right, next up we have Raxian Assembly. Is a 5-costed 6/5 Separatist official. Ground unit with a blank text box. Solid C, C+. I like these cards that have good stats. I like that it hits for 6. When my opponent plays these really good 4/6 leaders that we were talking about earlier, like, it trades with it and lives. Like, that's sick. And it comes out on 5? Yeah. Did I say C+? Costs 5, guys. Maybe it's a B-. Yeah, this card is approaching B- territory. I think it's just a solid playable. Like, if I could play a deck with no text and just went 2/4, 3/5, I don't know, 4/6, 6/5, 7/7, boom. That's my deck. Every game. That's what I want to do. Is it boring? 100%. Is it going to win? 100%. Can't beat stats, guys. All right, C+, B-. Next up, we have Crucible, a 6-costed 5/5 Jedi Vehicle Transport Spaceship that says, when played and when defeated, give an experience token to each other friendly unit. Each other's crazy. Crazy, guys. All right, let's do the draft rating first. If you have made this go wide token deck, this card is like an S million, right? Holy crap. Like, here's my 5/5 in space. By the way, everything else that's still in my field is bigger and now more annoying. That's an A. That's a bomb to me. Like, I've just buffed everything. Oh, you want to kill my 5/5 space unit? Now everything on my ground unit is bigger too. Now, this is in a playable world and best case scenario. So in a sealed environment where, like, I don't want to play a 6-mana 5/5 spaceship. Even if it buffs one thing, that's not good enough. I think it definitely needs to buff 2 things. But I think it can. I think it will buff one thing a lot of the time, and I think sometimes it'll buff 2 things. And in my go wide deck, it's going to buff a lot. So I think I'm going to make this card a B-ish. Yeah, B-. If we're playing it. I think you should put this card in your deck. If you're just playing a regular green deck, I think you'll buff some things sometimes. It's annoying that if they do defeat it and you have anything on the field, it just also gets buffed. And in these token decks, like, this is the payoff of the centuries of wisdom. That was a terrible joke. But yeah, it's a good payoff, and I'll make it an A minus. All right. Next up, we have Naboo Security Force. It is a 6-costed 5/7. Hey, stats man. On the ground, Naboo Trooper. When played, when defeated, you may disclose green, and you can give a friendly unit Sentinel for this phase. I kind of like that. Disclosing green is super easy. I expect most of the time you would have some other card in your hand that's green if you're playing a green deck. A 5/7 is fine for stats. It's one lower than what I'd want, but it's fine. I wish it was on attack, but you know what you can do is you can give this card Sentinel, and if they kill it, then you can immediately use this effect and give something else Sentinel. The problem with these temporary Sentinel effects is if my opponent already has like a dominating lane to beat me, they just claim and kill me next turn because then I have no Sentinel. And this card is actually hard to defeat if I'm trying to like space Sentinel in future turns because he has 7 health. Yeah. So he's a little awkward. I think if I had a better 6-drop, I'd play it over it. But I think that if he was my only 6-drop, I would play it. So, you know, this is kind of like what a C card is. I think it's playable. I think if I had a better 6-drop though, it would, you know, it goes lower on the totem pole. Next up we have Shadow Crawler is a 7-costed 6/7 ground unit with ambush. Fringe Vehicle Walker. Don't look like a vehicle, look like a bug. But whatever. It's a little slow, guys. Its stats are a little off. I know why they're a little off because they gave it ambush. I think if I was playing a longer control style deck, this could be a nice finisher in a way, or like, you know, where I deploy my leader, I ambush. I don't know, man. I'm not really excited about this card. I think these, you know, these expensive ambushy cards aren't as exciting when you like look at what they're looking at. And if you've seen the other cards, they all have like big butts now. I don't know what they're I'm telling you, they don't want units to die. So this thing is probably killing like a smaller unit. I really wish it had Overwhelm. Yeah, I'm not excited about this one. I think if it's the only 7-drop I open, I'm like, all right, Shadow Crawler, you're in my deck. And for that, I think it's like barely playable. It's like a C minus. Again, if we're Dryden Voss, it like goes up in stonks because I just want big things like this where I can discard to give other things ambush. But next up, we have Buten Pala. It's a 9-costed spaceship, droid control ship, actually. 7/7 separatist vehicle capital ship. It costs 1 less to play for each friendly droid unit. Okay, do we have droids? Do we have droids? That's a droid. If I attack with it, it costs 1 million less. It's free. Okay, so we do have droids. Droid. There's a droid. Has another effect that says each friendly droid unit may be exhausted to pay costs as if it were a resource. Now this is a legendary, so you're not going to see it that often. Its other text line is super cool, I guess. Like if you, in this world where you have a bunch of droids on your field and you can just tap them all down to play other big things. But you know, this isn't constructed, this is limited. So a 9-mana 7/7 spaceship is way too slow. Let's say I drafted this droid deck, so now it's like a 6-mana 7/7 spaceship. I mean, that's really good. 7-mana 7/7 spaceship is like fine, and 8 is not good. So, like I think there's a big difference between 7 and 8. 7 is like really nearing the end of the game. Like I play my card on 7, the game ends the next turn. That's kind of how I view it. I think this card outside of a build around droid deck, like in your normal pool, is going to be like a D minus. Probably just a little too niche most of the time. Let's just pretend for some reason you have this really cool droid deck that has 1 million droids in it. Sure, then it's like an A million, right? Like you did it. I don't see that happening though. It's hard to give it a draft rating. Again, I don't think you can really draft the droid deck. I could be wrong, but I don't. Next up, we have Unveiled Might. It is an upgrade, which I love. A 4-costed upgrade that gives +2/+3, and it has plot. Cool. Man, these plot cards are like kind of pissing me off. They all cost 4 when like my leader deploys on 5. I know I'm now playing Bail Organa, though this card with Bail Organa, solid. Like if you were, like I love Bail Organa. I don't know why, but you love him. Like this is the upgrade you want. Like that way your leader comes out, you discard your 2 cards, whatever. You draw your card back up with this. You have your 5/6 leader. Congratulations, you finally played a leader on curve. You really need this card for Bail Organa for sure. In a normal deck, I don't know. It makes the leaders more sticky. Again, I like teased this common card. It's common that exists in blue. Costs 5. Says if your leader does, sorry, if a unit does damage, kill it. And if you flip your leader, play Unveiled Might, swing at them, and they're like, kill your leader, and then they flip their own leader, I think the game is over. Sure, you just did like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 damage to them, but I think you just instantly lose. And for that, I don't like it. This is why I don't like upgrades. I think that no matter how good of a player you are, if you think that this upgrade can be really good on your leader and you just get punished by a removal spell, like you will just lose and you'll lose to someone worse, which feels bad. And that's why I avoid upgrades. I avoid like this 2-for-1 scenario. I like outplaying with stats and value trades and like, you know, these little benefits. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna cut Unveiled Might a lot of the time. It has plot, and these plot cards are so hard to evaluate because if my hand doesn't curve out and I'm playing like a 6-cost leader and I just didn't have a 6-drop, like cool, I have this card that was just sitting in the row. But again, like I'm already in a bad situation if that happens. So I don't like these upgrades. I'm gonna give it a D. Just keep it at that. I don't know. All right, next up we have Budget Scheming. It is a 2-costed event. Give an experience token to each 3 official units. 3 official units. A buff card that's really bad. It's an F. Again, let's say we have this huge build around. I'm making a lot of units. I don't know, D+. You know, there's a big difference between this card and this card, and that I have a bunch of units at 6 resources. I don't have a bunch of units at 2 resources. Sure, I can play something alongside this, but I'd much rather just play 5/5, buff my board. Why would I play 2 mana? Not even my whole board, just up to 3. Sadness, right? Yeah, don't play this card. If your build around token Y deck needs a payoff, sure. But it's probably gonna get cut to the card I just showed you. Next up, we have Reconnaissance. It's a plan. 2-costed event. If you control a ground unit, a space unit, draw 2 cards. Nice. Don't play these cards in Star Wars Unlimited, guys. You draw 2 cards a turn. Don't spend 2 resources to draw 2 cards. You're upping 1 card in advantage. Just play these cards called Plot. Just play Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks also draws you 1 card, which is technically what this card does. But you also get a 2/1. Wow, Jar Jar Binks is better than a card. That's crazy. F. Next up, we have Trade Route Taxation. A 2-costed event. Choose an opponent. If you control more units than that opponent, they can't play events for this phase. Boo-hoo, and it has Plot. Wow. Now this card, super cool and constructed. Super cool. Now, for limited, I don't care if my opponent can't play events because, in fact, I wish this card said my opponent can only play events because I want them to. I want to be playing my cards on curve and I want them to be playing some weird random events, right? I don't want to play this card in my deck. I don't know, out of the sideboard, you're like, wow, my opponent plays all these like blue hard control. I don't know how he did it, but sure, then you can side this card in and say, got him. But I don't know about that either. So, yeah, don't play this card, F. Next up, we have Charged with Corruption. Oh my god. Do you guys see what I see? We weren't paying attention. These cards all deserve A+. Look, where's my finger? Law. Law card. Law card. Law card. Law card. They're coming, guys. They're coming. Charged with Corruption. You may disclose 2 green cards. If you do, a friendly unit captures an enemy non-leader unit. Let's go. All right, capture mechanic. I got to show 2 green cards. Again, we have 4 cards in hand, so half of them need to be green. Sure, we'll just say that happens half the time. So half the time, this card does something. Half the time, it does nothing. Now, let's say it did it all the time. You know, that's like removal-ish for a little bit. But I don't like this card on curve. Don't get me wrong. If I played a 3-drop, and my opponent played a 3-drop, I don't want to capture the 3-drop. So then on my next turn, I'd want to be like, okay, I want to capture their 4-drop. And now I'm playing a 3-drop to capture their 4-drop. I don't know. But it's going on my 3-drop, right? Which can get maybe traded with their 3-drop. Is this making sense, guys? These cards are not good on curve. They're good in like the later parts of the game when I have like a big board and, you know, I put it under my leader. And in that case, maybe I've sculpted my hand to have these double green cards. I'm not excited about these capture cards. I feel like sometimes you're sad when it happens to you. but then you realize that your opponent didn't play a card and you can get your card back one day. And if you ever get your card back, your opponent just discarded a card from their hand to prevent some, I don't know, a card existing for a little bit. I don't know if that's worth it. So yeah, don't like this card. I'm going to give it like a D minus. D minus. Cutting it most of the time. Oh no. All these law cards are unplayable. Next up, we have Convene the Senate. Search the top 8 cards of your deck for up to 2 official units and create a spy token. Cost 3 resources. Okay, 3 resources, create a spy token. Well, that's obviously bad. I think I would create a spy token for 1 resource, but I don't even think I would spend a card, so that I don't know if that even counts. But I get to draw up to 2 cards. Do I think this card will draw 2 cards? Yeah, there's a lot of official units in this set. If there's one thing this set does have, there are official units. So I can see this thing drawing 2 and playing a spy token. Again, you don't need to draw cards in Star Wars Unlimited. What was the last one? Legend of the Force. People play like the freaking Watto, and they would swing with it for like 9 turns, and their opponent just says to draw 9 cards. And then even when you hear caster stocks, they're getting so much value from all these cards they draw. But again, you draw 2 cards a turn, and yes, it's really good to find your pieces. But when you sacrifice, like, you know, your turn 3 play like that to play a 1/6, like it can really hurt you. Don't forget, I'm like the value man. I love value. But this game really encourages tempo over value, in terms of like stuff that's going to your hand. Now, value on the field is a lot different. But yeah, value in your hands. I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling now. Anyway, don't play this card unless for some reason you have really key official units that you want to find, or you really, really need to make a spy token, like really bad. But like, again, I wouldn't play this card. Let's give it a D minus. All right, next up, we have With Thunderous Applause, and it's a plan. It's 3 costed. Give a unit +2/+2 for this phase. If you reveal a green card, give another unit +2/+2 for this phase. All right. Without the disclose mechanic, if they just said +4/+4, I would not like this card. I think we've had it in the past. 3 mana +4/+4. Those aren't good. Don't play them. F+. Woo! Next up, we have Ferrix Uprising is a 4-costed event. Deal damage to a unit equal to twice the number of units you control in its arena. Here's another good example of how this game is different than Magic. Is I would hate this effect in Magic and Star Wars Unlimited because I'm drawing 2 cards a turn, because I throw away 1 card and turn it into mana, a land. I like this card a little bit more. I like having removal, even though it's like incredibly situational. I don't like that it has to be in the arena. But I think that it can be removal nonetheless, especially in these token decks. So I think you just put it in your deck, right? And you hope it works. Like, I know that sounds stupid, but I think that's what you do. It's like kind of a C. And I think in these really wide token decks, you're going to be like really excited for this card because it's going to like maybe one-shot their leader because you just have 5 spies. That's amazing. That would be like a B, right? B plus A. Like if you're one-shotting a leader with this card because you have spies, like that's really good. So in a build-around situation, this card's really good. But I think you just throw it in your deck anyway to be like, at least I have a little bit of answering to units with the spell. Whew, we're almost done, guys. It's time to just let's talk. It's a trick. It's a legendary. I think that's the trick. They misprinted that. If a friendly unit left play this phase, this event costs 3 less to play, so not only costs 6. Let's go. Each friendly unit captures an enemy non-leader unit in the same arena. Cool. Steal their whole board. 6 resources. That's really cool. And then my opponent just plays a card that costs 6, and I'm probably losing because I put this card in my deck. Oh no, I don't know, guys. It doesn't capture leaders. And I'm kind of being serious. Like if you have a leader and one other dude, and you capture 2 of their guys, and they just flip their leader and play a 6-drop, they're probably still fine with you. And then again, if your guys ever leave the field, then you're just getting their crap back and you wasted. And you have to have something leave the field. Like if you're playing this for 9, that's really bad. Don't play this card. F. All right, guys, I did it. I went through all the cards. It's been a while since I made a video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. More to come. My goal is to finish them all before, the end of the weekend. That'd be really cool. Maybe 1 a day. We have 5 total, right? We have the 4 colors, and then I come in the end with the good guys, bad guys, and the neutral cards. So yeah, this has been me. Put your comments, put your disagreements, put your agreements in the chat. I love looking at them. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Peace.